All right, so here we are again. We have another opportunity with Remote Photo by CloudCard. We are continuing to pump out new features, and one of the features that we've just rolled out is some smaller override features that fit within our cardholder groups, and we kind of call them the cardholder group overrides. They're small, but they are very specific. But I think our customers are going to get a lot of value from this. Along for this conversation, I'm Moose. I work with support. I handle implementations and working with our customers as they are collecting photos. With us, we have from sales. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Moose. Tyler Gunther, Director of Sales and Partnerships, and I work with a lot of our OEM, value-added reseller partners, referral partners, and also some end customers, keeping the ear to the customers. So excited to join you today.
Great. And from the dev side.
I'm Jason. I'm the engineer who worked on this feature. I don't have as much to say about myself as Tyler.
Most don't.
Well, thank you guys both for being here. What I want to do is kind of just show you what we've done with cardholder groups. And Tyler, one of the things that you and I see often when we're talking to our customers is the need for two similar groups. They're not exact though, but two similar groups in an organization that carry badges for the same organization, but they maybe need them to look a little different. What are some of the differences you see in your conversations?
Yeah, we've had a lot of recent conversations about exactly what you said, the cardholder groups, and while they're within the same organization, they require maybe two different pathways, and whether that's answering different field questions, maybe it's a background removal. If you think of a certain unit in a health system and it's a different background color than what the contractors or the vendors use. So being able to really dial down the settings to adapt to certain workflows.
Yeah, and so we've been able to set up emails so far. That's been something we handled pretty early on, and we've been able to put SSO on one and then non-SSO use our access tokens on the other. And but the ability to make the badge photo look different and possibly even communicate from two different groups. So what Jason and the dev team have put together is they've put together that you can use different send from and reply to emails within a cardholder group. So say that you have one group that's just handling contractors and one that's handling medical staff or the like. Different backgrounds. Tyler, you touched on this one. My son's in nursing school right now, and as a nursing student, his badge photo has a different background than the actual certified licensed staff, right? And so for quick visibility, and then custom field questions, whether you're going to pick up the badge or, hey, we need an ID from contractors, or a government or a driver's license from contractors, but we don't need that from our medical staff. So what I've set up, if I can share my screen really quick. All right, so what we see here is actually what we've already been able to accomplish, and that's different emails. And in my sandbox, I'm a former teacher, so I tend to take a theme all the way through. So in a sandbox, we've got two different groups. We got the beach balls, we got the buckets. And although we've been able to do this for a while, up here you'll notice it's two different email addresses. Send from. This has been super helpful, all right, because this is that kind of that direct line of communication. It's about branding. It's about looking more like that very specific group within the organization that is handling this portion of the rebadge. I'd like to take you through the workflow.
So here we are here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to submit a photo. One of my favorite actors, John Amos. Okay. It's going to process his photo, first name, last name, and it lets me know we do have one more quick question. Where will you pick up your badge? So for John, we're going to say it's at the North Campus. Submit and sign out. So for this card holder in this test sandbox group, John Amos with the beach balls, he's done. So what we required of that card holder was just a photo and then tell us where you're going to pick up your badge. All right. And now for this card holder, slightly different workflow. You may notice a theme of my favorite actors here. Okay. One of the things you might notice is there's a different background for both of them. Okay. Now this user is being asked to upload a government ID. One more quick question. He's going to be asked where he'd like to pick up his badge, but you'll notice this is for different campuses. So this is tapping into that override that allows us to bring custom field questions, different custom field questions to both groups that are specific to that group. Once again, workflow is completed. Right. So that's what the card holder sees, and they don't see really the difference because they're only seeing what they're presented. And so I think what was cool about this feature being developed was it allows, you know, we're all about collecting the photo. That's what we do best. That's our number one goal. But part of getting that photo is getting some of the information around it that helps the card office do their job. So Jason, do you mind taking us through a little bit of where these settings are in the organization?
All right. So when we are looking at an organization, you're going to find some of those different groups of features in different places here. So if I go down through my general settings to the place where our custom fields are, so we see our custom fields listed just like usual. And here, numbers 2 and 3, you're going to see this little icon here at the end, right? That represents a group of people. That's going to be your clue that this custom field is only applicable to certain groups, right? First name, last name, those are applicable to everyone, right? No matter what group they're in, they're going to get those questions. But these are applied to different groups. So if I click into this one, I'm going to go down to the bottom. Now you're going to see a new checkbox here that says for selected cardholder groups only. So once I enable that, then I'm going to get a list of all of the different cardholder groups that are available in my organization. And I just check off the ones I want. That's it. And then hit save. So now this question is applicable to the beach ball group. And if I go back, this one is applicable only to the buckets group. Okay. So if I were setting up a new question, then I'm going to add a field. You fill out everything first. Okay, so we'll say this is question number 4, and then let's go ahead and save that. So once I've saved it, now we get this box. Let's check that, and then I can say, yeah, this is for the beach ball group, or no, it's for everybody.
Got it.
Okay, so if I go back and look now, right? So here's our demo field, and it doesn't have that group indicator because I didn't leave that option checked. Okay.
Great.
So that's how the custom fields work.
Okay.
For our additional documents, right? I'm going to go into the photo settings here, and then it's basically the same thing, right? So you can see our government ID here. It's got that same group icon. So if I click on that, go down to the bottom for selected cardholder groups only, and that group is checked. So that's how we're going to use just a pretty small little piece here in our setup to really like blow open the doors, right, on how we can customize the information that we collect based off of our different user groups. The other pieces that you showed, right, the background color or the background image changing, we can also change the color. Right, so if you wanted a red background for one and a white background for another, we can set that up too. Now, that along with the email addresses, those aren't features that our end users are going to see.
Okay.
Right? Because those are all part of our onboarding and support processes. So
Mhm.
those aren't settings that they normally have access to, but those are things that we're happy to take care of. Just shoot us a line or let us know during the onboarding process. And it's really easy for us to get those set up for you.
Yeah, actually, if I could share this for just a moment, Jason, that background that you're chatting about, I mean, that's what I'm able to highlight here is two cardholder groups having those two different backgrounds. That override feature can use color, can use this custom background, and that'll be inserted if background removal is part of your plan.
Can I tease the future a little bit, Moose?
You may.
Coming very soon, we're going to have the option for fully transparent backgrounds, and those can be overridden by cardholder group as well. Right.
Okay.
So you can have a transparent background for some groups and a color for others, however you want to do it.
That's going to be cool. Can I show where that is really quick?
Sure.
All right. So these overrides that are kind of in the photo portion and the email portion, they're going to be accessible here through cardholder groups. So when I go to the default or the cardholder group email settings, I can go here and you'll see that here are our configuration overrides. And we actually have a couple of options we can run with. We can do background color, background image, which is what we've sampled here, the email reply to address. We do have the ability to prevent multiple approved photos. So Tyler, some groups have said, hey, we want, in higher ed, we want students to stick with one photo for their full badge period. But we'd like for the administration and faculty, we'd like for them to be able to submit more than one photo. So we're actually being able to turn that off and on here per cardholder group. Send where the emails are going to be sent from for communication. So all of that, again, is going to be located here from cardholder groups. And then you click on the cardholder group and where you would like to include those overrides.
Is that something that the customer can set up? Or is that something that you'll have to reach out to support?
Tyler, you make a good point. This is what keeps me employed is, you know, we build some of these features in such a way that only the admin side can play with it. But seriously, we've put it in a spot that it is, it allows us to offer that white glove approach. So that's a good point. Good question.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for joining me for this conversation. As always, for our customers that are watching, please, if you have ideas for features, if you have questions about what we're rolling out now, support at cloudcard.us. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for using Remote Photo.